Am I the asshole for telling my husband's ex that I must have been the favorite girlfriend since he married me? Okay, so my 40SF husband 40SM have been off and on since we were 12, broke up at 22, took a 17-year break and got together 3 years ago and have been married for a little over 2.
He spent almost 3 years with an ex and they broke up about 10 years ago.
The ex, who I will call Patty, and my husband Doug broke up on good terms and she will reach out here and there to say happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and she reached out when she heard we were getting married and gave us her congratulations. Saturday night we went to the local bar and she happened to be there and we all sat together drinking, talking and just hanging out.
I was 3 Jack and Cokes in and I cannot remember how it got brought up, but Patty at one point said, "Well, at least I will always be your favorite girlfriend."
I laughed and said, "Wouldn't I be his favorite girlfriend since I'm the one he married?"
She stopped smiling and just looked at me. She finished her drink and left not long after that.
Last night Doug got a long message from Patty saying she was really shocked at how jealous, immature, petty and mean I am given my age and that I should be more secure in our marriage and in myself and that it's okay for Doug to care about others besides just me.
She also told him how much him telling her she was his favorite girlfriend all those years ago had always meant to her and can't understand why I had to shit on it.
Doug told her he was sorry what I said upset her but that I was just saying a fact. I was the favorite girlfriend and that's a huge reason he married me.
She sent back another long text saying I just think I'm better than her because Doug had a very firm stand that he would never marry. He didn't care if he had a gun to his head, it wouldn't happen.
When we reconnected this time he asked me to marry him after a month and we married after 8.5 months. Doug told her that it wasn't true. I don't think I'm better than anyone and said again he was sorry she was hurt but that I said nothing wrong. Told her the things she was saying about me aren't true and to be speak about me like that again.
I truly never in a million years would want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I said I was his favorite because I feel like you marry your favorite person, don't you? Why would you marry someone who isn't your favorite? So am I the asshole here? Doug told me it's not in any way on me that she got hurt. My best friend said that I didn't say anything that wasn't true and thinks maybe Patty is going through some stuff or just went through a breakup and is just taking it out on me.
Me thinks that the lady might be carrying a torch for your husband. Not the asshole.
You did nothing that wasn't true.
I just want to point out that Doug is the real MVP here. He could have taken her side, or gone neutral, or simply asked you to apologize to Patty for the sake of the friendship or whatever. I'm just in awe that he defended you and stuck to his guns when Patty continued to argue. He showed her he loves and prefers you. Good for him. I've read so many stories in which the man takes the ex's side, it's sickening. Not the asshole. She's going through something alright, accepting the fact that you broke her delusion that although he was marrying you, she was still his favorite. Not the asshole.
It's weird that she said it at all, and even weirder that she made such a huge deal about it when corrected. Like, what did she expect, for him to say that yes, she is in fact his favorite of all the people he ever dated? To what end?
Not the asshole.
Sounds like you tried to lightly play off her odd remark and instead of laughing and moving on she turned it into a whole thing. It was a really awkward thing for her to say and your response should have given her a chance to realize she had put her foot in her mouth.
I'd just try to move on and not worry about it anymore. And I had a good laugh imagining the smile being wiped off her face. Also, your husband is not even mincing words like, sorry but not sorry. I guess she just learned her place in the pecking order. Am I the asshole for refusing to call my friend's baby by their legal name? I feel bad and I feel like I am. But long story short, my friend named her newborn a name that is a trigger to my PTSD. I guess this is a name she's had chosen for many years, but I asked if I could call her a nickname I have heard used for that name. She said yes, and gave the nickname she only once used. That is also a trigger word for the same reason. Person went by the nickname more often. I suggested another one again kindly and she said no.
I decided to just say, little one, for now and hopes I can get enough therapy to help out. Mind you, it's been a long time coming already. I asked how the little one was doing and my friend demanded I say her baby's name. I didn't know really how to respond. I said the name but immediately had a negative reaction and I had a full-blown anxiety attack. My friend told me to get over myself and that the world doesn't revolve around my trauma and that this is her kid. I want to improve but don't know how long this will take.
But also, am I the asshole for suggesting a nickname that is normal or to just say, little one?
I do sympathize with your trauma, but she's right, the world doesn't need to accommodate you. You said therapy is a long time coming and that's your own decision making. You could have started therapy before now and you chose not to. Start now. Go get therapy, maybe some medicine for your panic attacks, and if you truly can't stand to say this baby's name, take a break from the relationship while you work on this. I feel for you.
Your situation sounds awful and I'm so very sorry about the miscarriage.
However, you say that this name is one of the top 150 currently. This means you're going to come across it in life and people aren't always going to react sympathetically to your need to call them by a nickname instead. Work, employment situations for example.
I don't think you can be called an asshole for a physiological response, however you can't always expect people to accommodate your trauma either. Good luck to you.
I don't know that anyone is the asshole, but your friend is right that you can't just make up a nickname for her child because you have unresolved issues from your past.
It's her baby's name. I am autistic with CPTSD.
Greatest thing you'll ever learn that in reality, not the internet, nobody cares about your triggers.
They're yours, you need to manage them.
What if it was your boss's name?
Would you just not call your boss their name? Like you made her new baby about you, and I know it sucks and I feel for you, but you're asking too much here. I say this with love in my heart as somebody with PTSD. Gentle, you are the asshole. You can't avoid the name forever.
Your friend's baby is far from the only person with that name.
What would you do if you got a new job and your boss or coworker had that name? If you haven't already, try EMDR therapy. It works wonders for PTSD.
Am I the asshole for telling my husband I'd leave his brother if I were my sister-in-law? First of all, English is my second language, so please forgive any grammatical errors.
My husband's brother went abroad for a job 6 years ago.
During the pandemic, his wife discovered that my brother-in-law had been cheating on her with another woman. They have a 10-year-old child. Since the pandemic, my brother-in-law hasn't returned home. I'm not very close to him or his wife, but we get along and have casual conversations from time to time since they've been married, and we've known each other for over 10 years. I didn't know about the cheating at first, but last year, during a casual conversation with my sister-in-law, I found out that my brother-in-law had been with his mistress during the pandemic. I believe she reached out to me because she was seeking help from my husband. My brother-in-law has not been supporting her or their child for years, and she confided that all his support goes to the mistress.
Now, this is where the juicy details begin. My brother-in-law fell ill and can no longer work abroad. He wanted to return to his wife's home, which is their conjugal property.
However, my husband informed me that his wife disagreed with this, which I completely understood. My husband and his family were upset with the brother-in-law's wife because they wanted him to live with his family.
I told my husband, no sugarcoating. If I were your brother's wife, I wouldn't accept him either. He got mad at me, saying that what I said was hurtful as a brother.
I tried to explain that I was just being honest. I feel like I might be in a hole because I didn't read the room, given the brother-in-law situation. However, my point is that they haven't been functioning as a married couple for years.
He didn't return for years, got a mistress, and now that he's ill, he thinks his wife is still waiting for him.
For additional context, I hate sugarcoating things. While my husband is super close to his brother and acts like the head of their family, always being protective of them.
Not the asshole. Cheating is cheating.
Your brother-in-law needs to realize there are consequences of his actions. And your husband's family are all the a-holes, with the brother as the biggest one, of course. And all you did was express what you would do if it happened to you, which, considering we are talking about brother-in-law being absent for months and expecting to be able to come home and act like nothing happened, sounds like your husband and his brother have been spoiled and sheltered by their mom their whole life.
Not the asshole, oh Crimea River. Jesus, the guy's a dirtbag who left his wife and kid to fend for themselves. He can kick rocks, and so can your husband. Not the asshole. Of course she isn't going to welcome him with open arms. He hasn't supported his family. Why can't his mistress take care of him? Ask him the right questions. If I leave the country, live with my lover for years and after fell ill, would you accept me back, like nothing happened? So, do you think cheating it is okay? Not the asshole. P.S. Keep an eye on your husband, he thinks it is okay cheating. Not the asshole. Our can move in with his parents. He legally can't come home anyways. He hasn't lived in home for years and has no paper trail showing he supported the household. I would call the police if he showed up. Not the asshole.
He didn't support her or his child for years and expects to be welcomed with open arms.
Rolling on the floor laughing, tell him to go reach out to the mistress for help.
Your sister-in-law needs to file for that divorce.
Would I be the asshole if I refused to pay for a crazy expensive bachelorette party? Please forgive any formatting errors as I'm writing on my phone. So my 32F cousin, 34F, we'll call her Callie, is getting married early next year. We're pretty close, we even lived together for a few years in college. We don't talk every day but at least once a month and at all family events.
This is the first marriage for both her and her man. They're very excited and are going all out with the wedding. We live in a fairly cheap state, but her wedding will still cost around $40,000.
Our families don't have a lot of money, so she's putting most of the expenses on credit cards, doing payment plans, and she even took out a small loan.
I don't think that's a great idea, but I've kept my mouth shut. After all, it's not my wedding.
Anyway, earlier this year Callie asked if I would be her maid of honor along with another married friend of ours. I was incredibly excited and of course, said yes. I knew there would be many expenses: dress, hair, makeup, shoes, bridal showers, and the bachelorette party.
So I saved my tax refund from this year to make sure I had all the costs covered, and I've eagerly paid for everything Callie has asked for. Now to the problem. The other maid of honor called me the other day and told me that Callie is wanting to go to Disneyland for her bachelorette party.
The bride wants 3 days in California with an Airbnb. I kind of lost my mind over how much that would cost and I called Callie. I tried to be as polite as possible and told her that this felt more like a vacation than a party and I couldn't afford it. She burst into tears and told me that she has paid for super expensive bachelorette parties for some of her other friends and she deserves to have the same thing. She even suggested I get a credit card. I wasn't sure what to say to that, so I told her I'd do some budgeting and figure it out. But the thing is, I simply cannot afford that.
I don't have any credit cards, and the few loans I have, I've been working really hard on paying off.
I'm very conscious of my spending as my parents were never great with their money.
They have filed for bankruptcy several times, had vehicles repossessed, and we were evicted once when I was a kid.
I refuse to end up like them, and am very uncomfortable with the idea of getting a credit card to essentially pay to take Callie on a pre-wedding vacation. I feel like an awful person, but I simply cannot afford this. I know this will upset her and she will be very angry and will probably cry.
Would I be the asshole if I didn't go to the bachelorette party and also don't offer to pay my portion?
Or should I suck it up and just take out a loan? Not the asshole. Sorry, Callie. I already am using my tax refund for everything else in your wedding. I don't have a budget for that Disney expense. I am willing to take you out for a night on the town or for some pampering. I understand if you no longer want me to be your mo and want one of the brides you spent tons of money on to take you to Disney instead. Let me know your decision. Not the asshole. The bride is the Sure. I would have loved to have gone to Disneyland for my bachelorette, but did I think that was worth asking my friends to go into debt for me? Absolutely not. She's acting like an entitled selfish brat and needs to be put in her place. She should have talked with everyone privately about their budgets and decided on something everyone would be comfortable with. I seriously can't stand this trend of brides feeling like they deserve for everyone to buy them an expensive trip for their bachelorette. Being a bride doesn't mean you deserve everything and are allowed to ignore your family and friends' life situations. Do not go into debt for this. Tell her you simply cannot afford this, but you will be there for her on the wedding day. This nonsense needs to stop. Why do so many people think they can live lifestyles of the rich and famous when they can't even afford to save $100 for a rainy day? Please be fiscally responsible and absolutely don't go into debt for someone else's dream vacation. Even asking for you to do so is appalling. If she did that in that past for other people, that's on her. I know someone who recently spent $3,000 as a groomsman for a trip, suit, stag, etc. that he couldn't afford. He's angry and bitter about it, but he could have said, "No, I can't afford your dream wedding." Don't be him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You shouldn't be going in debt for a wedding or someone else's wedding. Your cousin is extremely bad with money, don't take what she does as the norm. P.S. You know what makes a marriage really strong? Lots of debt thinking face. Not the asshole don't go into debt for someone else's wedding. Not the asshole. The entitlement of brides absolutely astounds me.
Nobody is required to spend an exorbitant amount of money to throw them lavish parties and vacations.
If she wants a trip to Disney, she can plan and pay for it herself.
A night out on the town or a nice spa day is more than plenty for a bachelorette party.
I don't know when women started thinking they were owed some kind of weekend or week-long festival just because they're getting married.